It's time for my MLB pick of the day, but first let me introduce you to my second golden retriever, Fiji. As promised a couple of days ago, let me now show you my son's reaction when they came back from school to find out we had bought a new puppy.
Merci papa. Merci papa.
Today I'm swinging for the fences with a big underdog. My pick of the day in baseball for Friday, September 30 is the Texas Rangers at plus 147 odds in American format or 2.47 in decimal, playing at the Angels. The Rangers have enjoyed nice success against LA recently, as evidenced by their 9-3 record over the past 12 meetings. If you only focus on the last 5 games in Los Angeles, the Rangers hold a 4-1 record. To me, the line seems too high, given these two clubs are evenly matched. The Rangers have scored 88 more runs than the Angels this year, and the pitching matchup favors LA, but not that much. Reed Dietmers does have better numbers than Glenn Otto, but Dietmers has been stumbling over his past 6 outings. Indeed, he has posted a 5.28 ERA and a whip statistic of 1.72, which is awful. After a quick break, I believe it's time that I finally address a very common misconception among sports bettors. 2 days ago, I mentioned that during the 2022 MLB season, I had shared 396 bets, which led to a profit of 8 units if you risked 1 unit per wager. So if you calculate the profit divided by the total amount wagered, you get 8 divided by 396, which equals to a return on investment, a ROI, of plus 2%. Now, every single time that I mention such numbers, there is always at least one person making a comment that looks like this one posted by Johnny Stelmar. 2% is not that good. If you're betting 100, it means you're up 800. All that work for just that? The inflation is bigger than this. That is completely false. Let me show you why in 10 seconds. Comparing the ROI of sports bets with inflation or the performance of the stock market makes no sense. You cannot do that. Let me show you how a 2% ROI with my MLB bets amounts to a much higher return than a 5% return with the stock market, for instance. Suppose you have $10,000 available that you want to grow. Now, if you invest it in the stock market or mutual funds or government bonds, you may get a return of about 2% to 5% per year. Let's take the optimistic case where you earn a 5% return. Now 5% times 10,000 equals a profit of $500. Keep this number in mind. You made a $500 profit with traditional investments. Now suppose you decided to use it to tail my MLB bets in 2022. I often repeat that a good rule of thumb is to bet 2% of your bankroll on each wager. That means that with a bankroll of $10,000, you would be betting $200 per play. Now, I said earlier that I won about 8 units thus far this season. Now, that has gone up to 11 units since I made that video, but let's be conservative and keep the 8 unit profit for the purpose of this example. That means you earned a total gain of 8 times your average bet of 200 equals 1,600. Compare that with the 500 bucks you made with traditional investments. You have made more than 3 times this amount. More specifically, we made 1,600 out of the 10K we invested in the first place, which translates into a 16% ROI. And that's not even the end of the story. The MLB season lasts 6 months, so we made 16% over half a year, which corresponds to a 32% ROI over a full year. That completely destroys the 5% ROI of the traditional investment. And yet, there are always people mocking me every time I mention the performance of my bets. Those people don't seem to understand how it works. The icing on the cake is this. If you ask a large number of sports gamblers to place 400 bets on baseball, between 95% and 99% of them would end up in the red due to the bookies' vigorish. Now, given that my plays have generated a profit, that means I am among the top 1% or at worst top 5% of sports bettors. How in the heck can that be considered not that good, as our friend Johnny Stelmar said? Again, that makes 0 sense, absolutely none. Thank you for listening to my rant. I hope you learned that you cannot compare the ROI of sports bets with other investment vehicles. If you make a 2% return with your sports bets, that corresponds to huge gains in practice. I wish you all a good weekend, and don't forget to watch my NFL video for 2 reasons. First, because you will get my top 3 picks for the upcoming weekend. And secondly, because you can participate in a free contest where you could win a $50 US prize. I'm Professor MJ, and I hope to see you in that video right now. Bye, my friend.